Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss about IEEE standard 802.11 wireless LAN security. Wireless LAN, it is an open source network. Due to its openness, attackers can easily snip or can modify the packets or even they inject malicious packets into a network here. Hence providing the security to the wireless LAN is a big challenge here. How we resolve this problem? To resolve this problem, we need to develop a security protocols here. So before developing the security protocols, first we have to see what are the basics of this wireless LAN here. Usually in the network also there are two types. One is wired network and another one is the wireless LANs. In the wired network, to provide the security, authentication server is available, and even one more server is available, that is the radius server. So radius means remote authentication dial-in user service server, and this server provide the service of authentication, authorization and also accounting here. And in wireless LAN also there are two types. One is ad hoc network and another one is the infrastructure wireless LAN. In the ad hoc network, if any devices want to communicate, yes, these devices can communicate directly. But in infrastructure wireless LAN, these devices can't communicate directly. If they want to communicate, then these devices must pass through this access points here. And access points, usually it acts as a bridge between this device and this device. In infrastructure wireless LAN, these devices actually we call as an workstation, and all these workstations are grouped together under this access point, and we call that one as a basic service set 1, and these workstations are grouped under access point 2, and this one we call as a basic service set 2 here. And these two access points are connected here. Means what? These two access points are wired LAN, and to provide the security for this wired LAN, radius server is available, but access points and these stations are wireless here. As I told earlier, AP means it acts as a bridge between the these stations here. If ST2 want to communicate with the ST3 directly, these two stations can't communicate here. First they have to pass through this AP1 and AP2, and afterwards these two stations can communicate here. And this is one basic service set and this is one basic service set here. Combination of these two basic service set you call as an extended service set. In the extended service set, each stations are uniquely identified by their MAC address. MAC address is of length 48-bit. Even AP is also uniquely identified by their MAC address. Also this AP1 and AP2, that is access points, are identified by service set ID. It is a character string of length 32 characters here. Now this AP1 and AP2, and this is client. Client means what? Workstation. So here this access points also, they have to tell that now I am available here in this range. What are the workstations are available? For all the workstation, it sends one request frame. That frame what you call beacon frame. Beacon frame contains what? Service set ID of the AP, and in the same way this AP access point 2 also send the request frame as a beacon frame, that is that I am available in your range. Any workstation, if you want to communicate, yes, you can take the help of my access point, that is the my service set ID. With the help of that you can communicate here. In the same way, if client want to communicate with the any other client, then also client can also send the request to APS. Okay, access points. So for that it sends a frame. That frame we call as a probe request frame. If you are sending the request from client, that frame we call as a probe request. If you are getting request from the API, that one you call as a beacon frame here. probe request frame, client will send to the access points. What are the access points received this frame? Those access points will send the probe response. That probe response frame contains what? It contains the SSID of APs, access points here. So along with that, even it contains the additional information in the probe response frame, that is the capability of access point and also data rate. Okay, data rate, how much it supports, that data rate, and what is the capability of access point, that information is also included in this probe response frame here. Once it is received, then client is, it is meaning of that one is what? Yes, if I want to communicate, first I have to approach this particular access point here. For that, first client has to prove the authentication of the client here. For proving that, it sends the authentication request here. Authentication request, okay, authentication request means what? Identification of the client here. So when this access points receive that, so it sends the confirmation and registration. So now that confirmation and registration request means what it is. Now this one, it sends the identity. So after identification, this access point will send that as you are confirmed, then you can register to my particular access point here. For that, it sends the association request here. In the association request frame, so now thing is what it is, this client is already authenticated. Now it is further communication can be takes place between the access point 1 and the client 1 here. So now this association request, usually it is request to the workstation with which workstation this client want to communicate here, and this authentication request is the prove the identification of the client here. Security protocols in Wi-Fi. So now you already know that what are the terms comes under in this wireless LAN, and to communicate how the procedure follow. Now we see some of the security protocols to provide the security during communication. Among these protocols, first one is the wired equivalent privacy protocol. Main aim of this wired equivalent privacy protocol is to provide authentication or access control, data integrity and confidentiality. You also already know that what these terms means. So its aim is to provide these three counts, but it is fails to provide the authentication, data integrity and confidentiality. So to overcome from this problem, Wi-Fi protected access is designed, and this one, it fixes the shortcomings of the WEP, that is wired equivalent privacy. But once again, in this also there is one issue is there. What is that? Susceptible to attacks on its cryptography algorithms. Means what? For encryption and decryption, what are the algorithms you are used in WPA are susceptible to the attacks here. So to resolve the deficiencies of WEP and WPA, higher version of WPA is developed, that is the WPA2 here. It resolves all the deficiency of these two security protocols here. Now we already know that what is security protocol also. Let's see how when WEP authentication process takes place. Earlier it is started with the pre-WEP authentication. In pre-WEP authentication, client if want to communicate with the server, see here in this diagram, you can easily understand that client and access points are, there is no line, means what? It is wireless, and access point and server are wired LAN here. Okay, as I told earlier, if this client want to communicate with the server, then client will send the authentication request to access point here. That authentication request, after received by this access point, it reply to that particular message as a authentication is success. Once client is authenticated, then it can communicate with the server now. For that further communication, it sends a association request here. That association response block traffic from client here. So now it may be received by the client or may not be received here. So once this authentication is succeed, that authentication request is forward to the server here. So when the server receive that request, so it also authenticate the client, and after that it send the response to the access point, and access point next it forwards to client device here. So now this client, if want to communicate with the server, first client has to authenticate by the access point, and access point must be authenticated by server here. So now this authentication success, what it contains the SSID. So that is the frame, which Beacon frame it is. Beacon frame contains what? Session ID of the access point here, or even it may be the probe response also. Now, while making the communication, attackers man in the middle. So simply it absorbs this communication, and because it is the open source network, so while transferring this authentication success that contains the SSID, this third party attacker can access that packet and it forward that packet to or frame to client device here. So the thing is what here is attacker can also access that service ID, and they can forward the further communication. They can move further, it can communicate with the help of that particular frame here. So to overcome this drawback, they followed one more process, that is the MAC address here. So instead of using service set ID, they started using the MAC address. As I told earlier, client and access points can also identified by their MAC address, which is unique here. Even what happens here, attackers even they monitor those communication also, how they access the service set ID. In the same way, they can also access the MAC address also, and same MAC address they can snip while making the communication here. Means what? This is the workstation. It is having one MAC address. That attacker will take that MAC address, and it tells that is what, I am a one more workstation. This is my MAC address, and also it sends to the access point here. Access point know that only MAC address, and based on that it will decide that I am getting the request from the genuine client, but that is not a genuine client. It is an attacker here. So instead of sending your MAC addresses openly, you have to provide the security for your MAC address. So if it is hidden, then that attacker can't access that MAC address here. So to overcome from this issue, you need to provide a security. Security means what it is? You can go for the one more level of security here. That is what you call as a authentication in WEP. So now this wireless station want to communicate with the access point. So now it sends the authentication request as it is, whatever it is sent in the earlier version. But in the reply, this access point, instead of sending this authentication success, first it will send a challenge. Challenge is a random number. Challenge response protocol means what? It is a random number generated by access point, and it sent as a reply to that particular authentication request. On receiving by this wireless station, what a wireless station has to reply now? That reply message must be encrypted. So now that challenge, what are the challenge it is received? No, that challenge is encrypted using key. That key is known by only the wireless station and the access point. Same key it is used by both the things, shared secret key. So now with the help of that secret key, this wireless station encrypts this challenge using what? Using RC4 algorithm. This is one of the encryption algorithm. It uses that encryption algorithm to encrypt this challenge with the help of the encryption key, that is the secret key, and it sent that to the as a response to the access point here, as a reply to that particular message, whatever it is received earlier. When access point receives, even this access point also know the secret key. With the help of that secret key, it decrypts, and after decrypting, it checks the response. In the response, if it is having the same challenge, whatever it is sent by the access point, then in this way, it authenticate the wireless station. Actually, this response contains the what? See, challenge, whatever the challenge it is sent by the access point, XOR with the key stream. It generates one key stream. That stream contains what? Shared secret, that is the 40 bits shared secret key and 24-bit initialization vector. This initialization vector is required for the RC4 algorithm. So with the help of that initialization vector only it can decrypt in the access point. Okay. So now this is the procedure it follow for to prove the authentication. So when if it is same, access point will authenticate and it sends that confirms access to the wireless station here. But here also will face one problem, that is what you call as a dictionary attack. Dictionary attack means what it is. So now, as I told earlier, so now this attacker simply watches this communication. So now after watching this communication, continuously it observes. So after observing, it will get the what is the procedure it is following here. Okay, so now it is like trial and error method, as I told here, password. So based on the guessing, it try to get what to encrypt, okay, how it is encrypted, what are the possible keys are available and which algorithm is used and what is the initialization vector. If it is guessed, then it is easily, means what here, initialization vector and 40-bit secret key can easily guess by what are the procedure you are used for the encryption. That one easily guessed by the attacker here. That is what you call as a dictionary attack. It does not resist against the dictionary attack. Okay, so this is the problem here. To overcome that problem, here we are using the authentication and the key agreement in IEEE 802.11i standard. What is that? Let's see. Same thing, this is your station access point and this is your authentication server here. This one is wired and this one is the wireless here. So now first thing is what, here initialization is taken by access point only. Access point will send the identity request to station here. Station will send the identity response. First access point send your identity. So now station will send its identity. So after receiving that, it send that to the access request to the radius. Okay, radius means what it is. It is a server and this server work is what, it has to check the authentication here. So access request whenever it is received, so this authentication server will generate a challenge. That challenge it is forwarded to access point. When access point receive that, it send that authentication request to station here. So now this authentication request, okay, contains what? It is a challenge and that challenge is what it is. It must be used by the station and it depend upon specific authentication method here. So now here you are using the master session key exchange here. So this challenge contains what? It challenge contains the master session key as a challenge. When the station receive that, so with the help of that master session key, it can continuously communicate with this authentication server here. Okay, and here you are using a EAP OL messages, that is the EAP over LANs. EAP means what? Extensible Authentication Protocol. Here to make the communication you are using one of the protocol, that is what you call as a Extensible Authentication Protocol. With the help of that protocol, this communication, for this communication you are providing the security here. Let's see what are that particular protocol and how it provides. In Extensible Authentication Protocol, there are 4 different authentication methods are there. First one is the EAP MDS. MDS means Message Digest. This is one of the hash function. Next one is the EAP TLS. TLS means what? Transport Layer Security. And third method is EAP TTLS, Tunneled TLS, and EAP PEAP, Protected EAP. EAP means what? Extensible Authentication Protocol. This protocol you are using for which purpose? To provide the security and to check the authentication. To prove the authentication, and for proving the authentication, what are the procedure you will follow? No, for that procedure you have to exchange the frames between the station, client, station as a client and access point and the authentication server. So those frames also we need to provide a security. To provide that, we are using these different types of the authentication, extensible authentication protocol. Let's see how this methods will provide the security for the authentication. First one is the EAP MDS. Okay, MDS is a message digest. So it is a hashtag of a password. I'll take the example, same thing. This is your client. Client usually called as a supplicant, and authentication server. Server is a authentication server. Server will send the request to, okay, same thing, that is continuation of the earlier one. If this want to, this AP will send the identity request. No, that same procedure here. You are getting the request from whom? So now server will send the request to the supplicant. As a authentication server will send a request to the supplicant, send your identity. So now client will send the identity as a response here. So when that particular message is received by the authentication server, this server will generate a challenge as a challenge string, and it forwards that message to client as a supplicant. After receiving that message, what client will do as a client as a supplicant? So now for that challenge string, it adds the password of the supplicant and identification of the supplicant, and all this message is for this whole message you are applying the hash function, that is the MD5, message digest 5, as a one of the hash function, and it generates a hash key for this particular message. This message contains what? Identification of the supplicant, password, and challenge string. Challenge string is received by authentication server. So now what are the hash key will get? No, that hash key it sends as a reply to the that particular message. Okay, when this authentication server receives that message, so here also once again this ID and password and challenge strings are available in authentication server also. Once again it calculates the hash key for that particular message, which contains ID, password, and challenge string, and what are the hash key it gets, that hash key it matches with the response hash key. If both are same, then it authenticates that particular supplicant here. This is how actually EAP MD5 authenticates client here. But here drawbacks are there. What are those drawbacks? Let's see. Insecure. Replay the hashed password. Replay the hashed password means what it is? Before, for this one response, before it is received by the authentication server, attacker will access this response and it send that as it is to authentication server in the place. This is hidden by supplicant. So now authentication server will think that I am getting the reply from the supplicant, but this attacker will access and it forward that to the authentication server, and further communication is what? Further communication is continued between the attacker and the authentication server. So that is what you call as a replay. Next, does not support authentication of the API to the station. So now what are the message you are receiving now? As I told here, so now supplicant and the authentication server, if they want to communicate, first these messages must be passed through the access point here. Okay, see here. First it has to be passed through this access point, but for this access point also you are not checking the authentication of the access point. That access point may be the attacker here. That is the drawback of the EAP MDS here. So now to resolve those problems, so next version is EAP TLS. TLS, that is the transport layer security. So now here, as what is the drawback of the earlier one? That replay attack, and you are not checking the identification of the authentication server. Earlier only client has to authenticate itself. So now here access point also has to authenticate itself. So before making communication, client, that is the supplicant, and access point as a AP must to authenticate itself. Okay, so that one you call as a mutual authentication. Mutual authentication means what it is? Access point authenticate to client, and client has to authenticate to access point here. How these two authenticate? With the help of this digital certificate here. And here to provide the security, you are using the socket secure layer TLS protocol here. This is one of the cryptography protocol usually used to provide the security while you are making communication through the open source network here. So now that security protocol, it is utilized by EAP TLS here. And for this one, you're using one more extra thing here, agreement on master session key here. So first, this wireless client and access point has to authenticate each other. After authentication, so now authentication server will generate one master session key, and that master session key has to be used by this client and this access point here. Okay, so this is how EAP TLS works here. But here problem is it is not feasible. Feasible means what it is? Access point contains more than one workstation. As you already know that. See here, so many workstations are connected to single. So here, so many workstations are connected to access point here. So in that situation, so for the access point holding the digital certificate of all the workstation is the very difficult. It is not feasible here. That is the drawback of EAP TLS. How we will overcome that one? Let's see here. So here, to resolve that problem, only access point has to provide the digital certificate. User not necessary to provide its certificate here. Meaning of this one is what? First, access point has to authenticate, with the help of its digital certificate to the all the workstations here. And workstations, if they want to authenticate, for authentication, it uses a secure channel. That is what you use it as a tunneled TLS. Tunneled TLS means what it is? Now user has to prove its authentication. That authentication you are not communicating directly. You are communicating through one secure channel. That is what you call as a tunneled TLS here. So that thing is what it is. First, access point will prove its authentication by sending the digital certificate to all the workstation. When the workstation receives that, workstation has to authenticate itself. For that, it sends the message to prove the authentication. What that message contains? It contains a attribute value. That attribute values are what now? Name of the user as a client or as a station, and password of this one. These two things you are sending through a secure channel. Now you are not using the open source network. This is the secure channel which is used between the that user, access point, and the authenticated server here. So now these are the channel used for which purpose? To prove the authentication. This is how EAP TLS works. So now here this is you are using the secure channel, but one thing you remember here, while passing you are using the name and password, and this password once again you are sending open. So now this secure channel may be accessed by the, if one fine day that attacker can get to know that to transfer the authentication or identification proof, they are using the secure channel. So if that attacker will get to know that which secure channel they are using, then that attacker can easily access the password of the user. It is the open. You are not hiding this password here. This is the drawback of EAP TLS. So now to resolve this one, you are using the tunneled TLS. So sorry, this protected EAP. So protected EAP means what? So in protected EAP, so sorry, in the protected EAP, you are using the thing is what? That secured channel you are using as same as in the earlier EAP TLS. So in the protected EAP, it is proposed by Microsoft, Cisco, and RSA Security. This is the thing is proposed by whom? By these three term. These three, Microsoft, Cisco, and RSA Security has developed this particular protocol here. So this protocol, what it tells, in the earlier the secure channel you are using to send the authentication of the STA, but thing is what, you are sending that username and password openly. Instead of sending that information openly, even in the secure channel also, that is what you call as a tunnel also, that message you are sending in the form of the encryption. For encrypting, you are using the RSA algorithm. So in this way, even your password is now username and password, you are passing through this secure channel. Even that password is not open here, it is hidden. How it is hidden? It is encrypted using the secret keys. As you know that it is RSA is what it is. It uses the private key and public key for the encryption and decryption. So now the same RSA algorithm you are using to encrypt your username and password, and you will pass that one to the secure channel. In this way, you will provide the security for the proving the authentication here. Yes, these are the different types of the security protocols used for which purpose? To provide the security. Yes, that aim is fulfilled here. So, but problem is price of performance is very high here. And what are the computational overheads are there? It is okay, computational things are there, it is very difficult to access. That is, the computational complexity is more and price to step this one is very high here. These are the problems of the EDAP protocol here. How to resolve this one, we'll see in the next record.